friends. Of course, I go by the name of the Kid, famous. You and now tuned into the Tim and Friends show. Hello, education, entertainment, coast to coast. Ball it up, call it entertainment. Let's get this started. Uncle Tim, let's start this show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
I do struggle to go from 4,
It's not that easy.
3, and then 2 and 1. It should be that easy. Almost as easy as moving a camera over there.
Yes, you got to be careful with the one, though. You got to make sure
Very
it's
careful with
yeah.
wires. If you are a camera person, they can get you. This is Tim and Friends for October 6, 2021. Love you, Dagan. Good to have you back. Come to you live from the Sportsnet studios in downtown Toronto. I'm Tim McAuliffe. With me, as always, is our digital producer, co-host, Jesse Rubinoff. Whatever you want to call him, he's sitting over there. And, of course, you, the friends of the show. And if you ever miss the show, you can just whisper, Tim and Friends, into your Rogers Ignite control, and it'll pop up. Or you can check out the Netflix-like archive on Sportsnet Now, which is free to many Rogers customers. Did you know that?
No, I don't think I knew that, but I will say that I have. Have you ever played the game where you try and whisper like as quietly as you can to see at what level it will recognize? So I'll be like,
No.
Netflix.
Do you know
And
what my favorite thing to do with the Rogers Ignite controller?
What's that?
Free movies.
I didn't know that was a thing either.
Did you know that?
No, what?
You just say free movies into it, and it'll give you all the movies that you have free. So you know how there's like pay-per-view movies, there's movies that are on certain channels that you don't get?
Yeah.
Free movies, boom.
Okay.
List.
Let's
Boom.
go.
And then you can organize them by critic score. You can
I have a Wednesday night plan.
There you go.
Free movies.
Especially now that we have the 2 days off because of the baseball playoff. Look out!
Here we go. I got a Wednesday
Not
Thursday
like
Friday
we've
plan.
been talking about it at all. But this is our Friday, kids. Coming up on today's show, Ross Atkins, the managing general of the Toronto Blue Jays, will stop by for a postseason look back and an off-season look ahead. Very interesting off-season for the Jays. Ron McLean, Tara Sloan will also join the fray as Rogers Hometown Hockey, presented by Hyundai and Desjardins, makes its triumphant return to the network. And a little old-time hockey, that's right, kids. A little old-time hockey. Eddie Shore, otherwise known as Ken Reed, will make his regular Wednesday appearance right here on the show. Yankees and Red Sox kicked off wildcard weekend in style. Time to follow with the Dodgers and Cards tonight. Arash Markazi will join me from Chavez Ravine to discuss. Sounds like 2 hours of edutainment to me, but we'll let you be the judge. Starting with first things first. And Jesse.
First things first.
We'll let them be the judge. The Aaron judge.
Dun, dun, dun. I knew it was there, but I thought it was a bit of a stretch to get there.
It wasn't. Yeah, I just did it. I didn't say it was going to be great, but I did it anyway.
What about Aaron Judge?
He lost. He lost.
Right.
And the Red Sox are going to take on the Rays in the American League Division Series after a 6-2 win over Aaron Judge and the
There you
Yankees.
go.
In the American League wildcard game last night, the Sox got to Garrett Cole early and often. Xander Bogaerts hit a 2-run homer in the first. Kyle Schwab followed with a solo shot in the third, and Cole's night was done after recording just 6 outs. Cole's taking a lot of blame for the Yankees' loss. Does he deserve it?
I thought the Yankees made mistakes, and I thought they've been sloppy for a lot of the year. Like, Jays fans saw that up close and personal in the 4-game sweep. Like, only 4 teams in all of Major League Baseball made more errors than the New York Yankees this year, and for a $200 million payroll, that's unacceptable. It's also unacceptable when Garrett Cole makes $36 million of that $200 million and can't last beyond 2 innings. Like, I thought there were a lot of mistakes in that game. Players, coaches, to send or not to send with 1 out. Speaking of judging, you can judge that. There were a lot of mistakes. But allowing 3 runs on 4 hits and not getting through more than 2 innings, that to me was a colossal failure from the Yankees, from Garrett Cole. I even heard some suggesting that he was rattled by the Fenway fans. And, Jesse, it's not like Cole to get rattled. Oh, wait a second. Maybe it is like Cole to get rattled, even when people are just asking him questions like, I don't know, did you use spider tack?
And have you ever used spider tack while pitching?
I don't I don't know. I don't know if.
So in the end, I guess our Garrett Cole stats from yesterday were pretty good. You had the second half. I had the stats at Fenway. In the end, he was outpitched by Nathan Eovaldi in a game they had to win, or their season was over. That's just unacceptable at $36 million.
Yeah, I think Kevin Millar hit the nail on the head yesterday when he was talking about Cole, and he said his velocity, when he's been struggling in September, his velocity isn't down. His velocity is at the same spot, but his control issues are what's causing him major issues through September. And last night, that's exactly what it was. His velocity was fine, but he was throwing balls over the middle of the plate.
He wasn't pitching.
And he was not pitching. 50 pitches he threw, 30 of them were strikes. Just 30 of them. And this is a guy that you said is making basically $1 billion for the Yankees. So he's got to be better than that. He has to be better than that. And going 2 innings against the Red Sox, your biggest rival, in a game, a 1-game elimination, is not good enough.
See that guy chugged a beer?
Yeah, nice.
We called it an epic chug yesterday.
Did you?
On Twitter. I didn't. We did.
Well, we did. Right.
Digitally. We called it an epic chug.
You don't.
Did you actually see? I don't know if that's an epic chug.
No. Well, what is an epic chug?
Well, like it was up for like a second. That's a big swig.
So just a chug?
Can we show it one more time, guys? I don't know if you even caught it there, but there was like after the home run, there was and that was called an epic chug. You be the judge, Jesse.
Okay.
So in the celebration, I think it's
that's a
2
second
replays.
replay. No, that's a middle pitch though.
That was middle.
Boom,
that's what
gone.
Pilar was talking about.
Yeah.
Millar was talking about, not Pilar. He played for the Jays. This guy right here.
Okay, epic coming.
Epic.
See, I mean the video's not long enough there.
It suggests that there may have been.
You can't Zapruder film that.
No.
It's not long enough.
No. I think that was a big swig.
Might have been an epic. It might have been an epic chug. Just didn't see it. Okay. Someone else who is getting a lot of heat for the lack of Yankees success, not just Garrett Cole, but also the manager, Aaron Boone. Mm-hmm. Should he be getting a lot of the blame for the lack of playoff success for the Yankees?
Yankees fans are hilarious. Like Aaron Boone is 5th all-time with a winning percentage in his lifetime over 6. 5th all-time. Like that's managers with like I think more than 450 career games. Like this year's 92 wins, the lowest number he's had in a full season. He's averaging like 98 wins a season, and he just had to yank his $324 million pitcher after 2. And it's his fault? Like, get the fudge out of here. Yankees managers, I get it. It's about the postseason. They got to win the post. This was a flawed roster that made chicken soup out of chicken poop in the starting rotation. They made way too many errors and somehow still had to rely on Stanton and Judge way too much because other dudes didn't step up. Hey, Yankee fans, this is what happens when you can't overspend everyone into oblivion. Welcome to the real world.
Mm-hmm. Can I play devil's advocate for a second?
Sure you can.
The last time a Yankees manager, he's been the manager for the Yankees for 4 years, 4 seasons. The last time a Yankees manager was given a 5th year without making a World Series was 1922. Mm-hmm. So is Aaron Boone the guy that should change that cycle?
When was the last time that any of those managers averaged 98 wins in their 4 years? When was the last time that the New York Yankees didn't spend a bleep load more than everybody else? Yeah, the Jays won the World Series twice when they had the highest payroll in baseball. Like, welcome to the real world. This is what you've got to do. That was a flawed roster. Anyone who looked at it, even when they went on those runs, what happened? Stanton and Judge got really, really hot, right?
And then they lost a lot of games afterwards.
Gary Sanchez just isn't good. Voit didn't live up to the billing. Their starting rotation wasn't good enough, and they still were able to find something to make it work. This team is a flawed roster, and they were about a 92-win team that would lose in the wild card, and that's what happened. In fact, I think they got more out of this team than could have been expected.
Can I just bring up a quick quote? Something he said last night, Aaron Boone. Quote, "The league has closed the gap on us. We've got to be better in every respect." Why is he saying the league has closed the gap on the Yankees? The Yankees haven't made the World Series in 12 years.
I think he's referring to what I'm referring to. I think that's a shot at Brian Cashman.
Right.
I think what he's saying is...
Bold move to be taking a shot at your GM when your contract's up.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of people that think that he should go. And I think that we're sitting here because this roster isn't all that good. Mm-hmm. What was I wish I remembered the number, but when they swept the Bo Sox in Boston, by the way, Boston making chicken soup out of chicken poop too.
Amazing.
What
cool
they're
story.
doing is unbelievable. But it was Stanton and Judge with like 56% of the runs driven in, or 66% of the runs driven in.
3 homers, 10 RBI for Stanton alone. That's
in that series. Yeah. It's just that you can't bank on 2 guys in baseball. It doesn't work that way. And this year, offensively, that's what the New York Yankees did. Name the last time the New York Yankees did that. Like the 80s?
Yeah, pretty much.
Right?
Yep.
And that's why I think this is a flawed roster. You can blame Boom if you want. Maybe another manager could have gotten more out of Sanchez and Voit, or put him in the position to succeed more.
Yeah.
He's not the one out there making the 5th most errors in the majors.
Also, if Garrett Cole goes 8 strong yesterday, papers over a lot of the deficiencies.
$324 million pitcher not be able to go more than 2.
He deserves most of the blame in that situation.
Still, Boone was better, though, than longtime Yankees play-by-play guy John Sterling.
Ooh, that's tough. That's tough.
For those who didn't hear his call on Giancarlo Stanton, here's how it sounded.
The pitch to Stanton. There it goes. Deep left. It is high. It is far. It is gone out of the ballpark. A Stantonian home run. Now, what did I do wrong? What did I see wrong? He's at first base.
What you did wrong is it didn't go.
I'm not going to sit here and criticize an 84-year-old. That's how old he is, right? 84 years old?
I think he's 83.
83.
But whatever,
I'm not going to sit here and criticize an 83-year-old man. I think there were many people that were watching that game last night, whether you're in the building or not, that thought that ball was gone, especially considering how good Stanton's been over the last month.
I like Robin's tweet. We posted this yesterday on our digital accounts. Mr. Digital Producer doesn't know what we're posting out there. I propose that the term Stantonian home run be used going forward to describe pimped long singles.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
So to be fair, you're right. Sterling's 83, Matt Vasgersian is 54, and I think Vasgersian got caught, just not as bad.
Oh, he got another one. He got another one. No, it's off the monster. And Stanton, who'd put it into the home run trot, thinking the same thing I was, is satisfied with a single. Oh, my.
That's tough. A single, I mean, listen, if you just round first off of the monster, sometimes you end up with a single. That just happens if they play it well off of the monster, but that's tough.
Vasgersian is very lucky he didn't break out of Santa Maria, or that would have been trouble for him.
You know who got me on one of those was Juan Soto in Washington against Boston, bases loaded. He hit it to dead center field, and when it went off the bat, I was like, oh my God, the Jays are going, and then it was caught in center field, although 402 feet away.
Yeah, I mean, there's a different. It happens with fans all the time. Like every game, it happens with fans, but they're professionals.
That's why every play-by-play guy, if you listen closely, will say he hit it high. He hit it just to make sure.
You're
buying time to watch an outfielder. By the way, any fan that goes to the game and just gets excited immediately, just look at the outfielders. They'll tell you anything you need to know about any fly ball.
One step back, not a big deal. It's just knocked out of the park. Okay, there is another wild card game tonight, this time in the National League. The Dodgers won 106 games this season and now have to face the red-hot St. Louis Cardinals in a one-game playoff for the right to play the best team in baseball, the Giants, in a best-of-5. Who's getting screwed the worst here, Tim?
I know people want to say the Dodgers, but the correct answer is the Giants. The Giants are getting screwed the most because they won 107 games this year. And if the Dodgers win this one-game playoff, who's favored in the series between the Giants and the Dodgers?
The Dodgers will be.
The Dodgers very well could be and probably will be. And this is why, listen, I know Donovan Bennett and a lot of people feel like you need to just leave it the way it is. We're always trying to change things. This is proof that it's flawed. How is it possible that the 106-win team is going to play the 107-win team while the 88-win Braves are just sitting over there chilling, waiting for their matchup. Like, I don't know how baseball fixes this, but I think that they need to look at it and fix it. Whether it's a reseed, whether it's stop the unbalanced schedule. Like, think of this. Since August 6th, the Dodgers are 41-12, and the Giants are going to get them in the first round of the postseason. That's ridiculous. And even if they don't, they're going to get the Cardinals. You need to value the regular season. I get that. Pennants mean something. But this was when you had 2 divisions in 2 leagues. Now you've got 3 divisions, and the unbalanced schedule is just not working for everyone.
Yeah, I completely agree. I don't like it one bit. It'll be Adam Wainwright, 40 years old. Max Scherzer, 37 years
Crazy.
old, on the hill tonight. And Scherzer is 7-0 since coming over to the Dodgers at the deadline. 7-0 with a 1.08 ERA.
So he's pitched
in
well.
11 starts. Like, age is just a number for Max Scherzer and Adam Wainwright.
Rash Markazi a little bit later on from Chavez Ravine.
And you know who else? Ross Atkins.
Nice.
Pretty cool.
Talking some baseball.
Yeah, let's go to hockey, though. A busy night in the NHL preseason and a tough night for goalie Sam Montembeault in his Habs debut. Montembeault gave up 6 goals on 44 shots in a 6-2 loss to the Leafs. Nick Ritchie continues to make the most of his shot on the Leafs' top line with 2 goals in the victory. In Vancouver, the Canucks were shut out by Philip Grubauer and the Seattle Kraken, but the bigger story in the Lower Mainland was the return of Elias Pettersson and Quinn Hughes, who skated with their teammates for the first time yesterday and then joined Dan Murphy during last night's broadcast.
We were trying to get it done the entire summer, and I think when it really hit home was when, their first preseason game was going on, and I think we were both watching at home, and we were like, it'd be pretty fun to be out there right now, and we were just sitting at home, I wouldn't say bored, but we were getting there, and so that was when it really hit home. And I think after that, the last couple of days were stressful because I think they wanted to get it done, and we wanted to be there too. So it's nice being back.
Certainly is nice being back for them, I'm sure. Pettersson and Hughes had been in training in Michigan with Hughes' dad, Jim, and Brady Tkachuk. And Brady Tkachuk, who's in the same situation they were. So what do you think he's doing right now?
Apparently waiting for the Sens to call. Andy Strickland last night on Twitter, and he is a local writer who breaks a lot of stories, to be honest with you, from St. Louis. So there's the Tkachuk angle on this story. But he tweeted out, lack of communication from Ottawa to the Brady Tkachuk camp is a big reason of what's preventing Tkachuk from being signed. Basically saying at times they've gone several days without reaching out. Mentions the Sens' history with star players. Here's my appeal to the Ottawa Senators. Don't screw this up. You've been in this spot before. You have peppered your fans with history of great players not being re-signed in your city because you either didn't want to pay the money or didn't have the money. I'm not saying this is the suggestion this time around, but you need to get it done because your fans have been beat down repeatedly. You are trending the right way. DJ Smith has them going the right way. Speaking of making chicken soup out of chicken poop, Pierre Dorian has done that repeatedly. They look like they're a team on the rise. Don't bleep this up. Get it done. And if you're just waiting because you want to make sure the number is low enough so you can get everyone else under contract, then go ahead and do that. But in the meantime, your fans are waiting. Get it done.
So what does that mean? Giving him a bridge deal if that's what he wants?
It means you got to get a number that you think that you can get everyone else under contract with too. But there's no doubt that he is the best of the bunch. Yeah. So get this one done and then worry about the rest. And the one thing that I know Ottawa is thinking is, listen, this isn't our year. There's no rush on this. Let's not rush it. Problem is your fans have been waiting a long bleeping time.
Yeah, it seems like they want him to sign the long deal. Brady Tkachuk's camp wants him to sign a bridge deal and get a longer-term deal down the line. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. What the hell happened in the Panthers-Lightning game last night, Tim? What
That's
happened?
why I said old-time hockey. Eddie Shore. I don't know what the hell they're doing, but when you have a rivalry that runs as deep as this one apparently runs, and a goalie the caliber of Andrei Vasilevsky gets hit by a guy that likes to stir the pot, you're gonna have stuff like that. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like preseason, you got guys out. Even Joel Quenneville said after the game, it was old time. We'll talk about it with Kenny Reed, who loves his old time hockey. There's the hit, and this is like you just knew you can't hit Andre Vasilevsky in the preseason.
Yeah, I mean that's why the Lightning didn't let it go. Like it wasn't just this scrum either. It went the entire game. The penalty minutes were 49-47 in favor of the Panthers in that game, and yeah, that's what it is. You hit Vasilevsky, that's it.
That's it.
Done.
And no one's going to let it go. Yeah. But I can't wait to see them meet in the playoffs.
Again.
Because and every regular season game, circle it on the calendar. All right, still to come, Kenny Reed, old-time hockey. Is he bringing trophies? I hope he's not. Ron McLean, Tower Sloan stopped by to discuss the return of Rogers' hometown hockey. We'll head to Dodger Stadium, Arash Markazi. But up next, it's Blue Jays General Manager Ross Atkins to talk Toronto Blue Jays. Looking back and looking forward. Next on Tim and Friends.
2-1 pitch. Bogart sends a drive to center field and deep. Gardner turns around and watches it fly.
I would guess the Yankees would still be the favorite with Garrett Cole, but you look at those numbers and you might get some value if you sprinkle here on the Red Sox.
Oh, high and deep out to right field. Judge back and watching, and it's gone!
I didn't perform the way I wanted to perform tonight.
Can you describe the disappointment you're feeling not getting the job done?
Sick to my stomach.
The playoff format we have in baseball right now, I love it. Everybody was really competitive all the way to the end. So, the format works.
Kid gets to the game, he's kind of relaxed, no problem, and the cotton candy starts to come out. But look at Mom. Mom's starting to put it away. She's going, no, okay. And the big guy's down. Look at that. This is that. Look at the spin-a-rama.
Welcome back to Tim and Friends. Still plenty to come, including Kenny Reed. But the Toronto Blue Jays season came to an end in nearly spectacular and ultimately, for their fans, heartbreaking fashion on Sunday evening. A 91-win season wasn't enough as the Yankees and Red Sox grinded out wins in New York and Washington, respectively. But here to help us break down that season and look ahead to what might be a wee bit of a busy offseason, especially for the GM of the team who joins us now, Ross Atkins. Thanks for giving us time, as always, and thanks for doing this.
Thanks for having me, Tim. Good to be here.
I didn't want to, I know I mentioned offseason. I didn't want to put you there that quick. Are you already thinking about it? How quickly do you get to offseason mode in the spot that you're in?
Yeah, we started on the periphery a couple of weeks ago. So not that we were planning to be done playing, but we have a large group. So we started thinking about what questions we need to be asking of one another. And but the last 48 hours, I've spent a lot more time and energy on it for sure.
Gotcha. I would say, give me a letter grade or some cheesy thing like that people in my chair sometimes ask. But I hope that our audience, and I think that our audience is smarter than that. So let me be specific right off the bat. I know that the goal is always to win, and ultimately success every season is determined by if you played and won the last game of the MLB season. But do you feel like 2021 was a success, and why or why not?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, we won't feel satisfied until we're winning championships, but there are a lot of positive things to point to. I think first and foremost would be that we're a better team and organization than at the start of the year. We were more complete offensively. We were much better defensively. We were pitching well. Our starting rotation was as strong as arguably anyone's. Huge progress from guys like Jordan Romano, Timmy Meza, that really started to stabilize our bullpen. And then secondarily, I think, as we think about being and desire to be the best place to play in baseball, we took a huge step towards that. I think anyone could see just watching, whether in the stands or on TV, the joy and passion that our players have for the game and for one another. And that's unique. That doesn't happen everywhere. And that will be exceptionally attractive to, free agents, anyone we're looking to acquire, and obviously guys we're thinking about extending. So there's a lot of positive things to point towards for sure.
I want to get to that for sure, but before we move forward, we got to know where we came from. And I was trying to pinpoint where it went wrong because, unfortunately, that's my job. And I said that I thought that the struggles of the bullpen early really cost the team. And while giving you guys credit for some great deals, not getting help there earlier could have cost a postseason berth. Do you have any regrets about how this season went?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to pinpoint one thing. It really is. I think a lot of attention was brought on our bullpen when we had the injuries that we had, and then we had some guys that were thrust into roles that were somewhat unfair. So, ultimately that is on me, and that is on us to correct and improve. And we will think about how we can do a better job of that moving forward. But as I talked about our defense and offense at the end of the year, there were some things we could have done a lot better to help that bullpen not be so stressed and play better defense, score more runs so that we weren't having to win games by one run day in and day out.
You had a plus 183 run differential. You guys scored a lot of runs.
Yeah. I mean, at that time of the year when the bullpen was so stressed.
Got you.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to.
Got you. You were talking about how dynamic the group is and how good the dynamic is with the group. And I was trying to figure out, like, our free agents, money, what it would cost to run it back with the vast majority of the guys that you finished this year with, the team that you were just talking about. Can you afford to do that? Can you run it back with these same guys?
Yeah, and you're saying it also acquire the players that are now free agents, just return them to the group. Yeah. I mean, we have the financial flexibility, I think, for that to be realistic. That type of impact, to make that type of impact on our roster that will be here for sure, barring a trade or something unforeseen. We are planning to have that support and feel as though we will have that support from Rogers because of the work that Mark has done to walk through every step of our plan at each time that it needs to be discussed, and with each evolution of performance and each year, and as different things occur to our roster and organization. So feel that we'll be in a very strong position to continue to make the organization better.
I've told you before, and I don't expect you to remember it, but I feel like my role is the translator from the fans to the athletes and the management and back. And one of the things that I keep hearing is, can the Jays keep Marcus Semien and Robbie Ray? Is that something you want, and how confident are you that those two guys could be back?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, we are so grateful for having been a small part of something really significant in their individual careers that impacted our team in a great way. And I feel confident in saying that they both felt respected, comfortable, and valued here, and would consider us somewhere that they would like to return. And that's mutual, but you can't put yourself in a situation where you have to do something. The same goes for them. They can't just bank on the Toronto Blue Jays being a good spot and making sure that, or feeling as though that the dollars they feel will be fair market value will absolutely be there with us. So it goes both ways. We have to consider alternatives, consider other ways to make the team better as we factor them in. But, I think the Toronto Blue Jays benefit greatly from them having the years that they had here in and around the group that they did as well.
Yeah, that's a very important point, and I know it's something that you guys want to make sure that other people see. Why do you think that was so? Like, I know Pete Walker and Robbie Ray, their relationship was very good. I mean, Marcus Semien coming in, playing second base and doing he had an unbelievable year. How do you sell that to other people around the league?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully the players take care of that, and the industry's pretty small, as you know. We've spent a lot of time, energy, and money on making this the best place to play in baseball. We want it to be that. We want them to not have to worry about things that they shouldn't have to worry about, and making sure they have every single resource, whether it be staff, training facilities, nutritional supplements, whatever it may be, to help them improve and get better. We don't want them to have to go elsewhere for it. And I think it's come full circle for us.
Okay, so let's look forward a little bit more. What spots would you like to improve on this roster?
Well, I think the easy areas to point to are where free agents are leaving. I think, starting pitching, every team is going to be in that market, but we're in a better position than we were a year ago with the addition of Barrios, the progress of Ross Stripling becoming a starting option, or he was a starting option for us, but being here, Yunshin Ryu's been great. And then obviously Alek Manoah, that is such a good story for baseball and for us. So continuing to build upon that will be important, complementing our bullpen and then looking to complement our infield. But, now having two of the better players in the game at shortstop and first base, again, we're in a better position than we were a year ago. So improving upon that is a bit easier than it was a year ago, but we still have to do it. We still have to make this organization and team better than it was at the end of this season.
Will you have talks on a long-term deal with Vladdy and Bo?
We are always talking about how we can keep players here for as long as possible. It just has to go both ways. So that's nonstop. The offseason does create another time where we can do it with a little bit less stress because they're not having to perform day in and day out.
Right. So let's get back to the starting rotation. I know you started there when I asked you where you could improve. End of the year was a real strength. Obviously, it has 2 free agents in it, so people might try and figure out where you're going in that spot. Do you still see Nate Pearson as a starter on this team?
Yeah, I think, we have to be mindful of the missed time and the development opportunities, not just workload, but development, ensuring that we're not expecting too much of him too quickly. So we want to be thoughtful about how we can have him pitching in the World Series for us as well, not just someone that starts the year in the rotation, but we see him as capable of doing that.
I know you said after the press conference earlier today that all of your coaches were coming back, and we hear a lot about people who don't like Charlie Montoyo as your manager. What's your assessment of the job that he's done in bringing him back?
Yeah, a lot of things I've been talking about, that we're a better team than we were at the start of the year. Want to be the best environment for players to improve and succeed and have, incredible careers. Want to make sure that, people feel respected, valued, and comfortable to be individuals. And you can see how much our players get along, how well they get along, and that's with our staff as well. So it's an incredible environment that we're exceptionally proud of, and it wouldn't be in that position if it weren't for him. So the staff has done an incredible job. He's a huge leader and an impact. He's making an impact that way. So, and that's without even talking about the fact that we had to overcome things most teams didn't for the past couple of years.
Jesse and I were talking in studio about how much of the manager's job an average fan would never see. Do you have an estimation of obviously any fan can watch when a manager, makes a bullpen move or decides to pinch hit for a player? Do you have an estimation of how much of the work that you're asking him to do takes place where no one sees?
Yeah, I would say at least 90% of it. We have the benefit here of seeing under the hood a little bit. So, our staff over the course of the year is in as early as 9:30, 10 a.m. on, with night games to play and starting to prepare for just that night and what they have to do to make sure that our players are prepared and have what they need. It's an insane amount of energy and work that goes into it. And, one of the things that was so interesting about the Kevin Kiermaier incident with the card that was left on the field or fell out of Alejandro Kirk's, mitt or the piece of equipment, right? It was more about for our staff just how much work goes into something like that. How much time and energy goes into something like that, as much as it was the strategy or them learning how we were going to attack so and so. These guys are relentless, and it's their lives that they're pouring into ensuring our players have what they need, and our staff has done, in my view, a remarkable job of that.
All right. The one thing that I have to ask about is, and I'm not going to get into negotiations or figure out what's going to happen with the CBA, but how much does it complicate what is already going to be, just with what you have in front of you, seemingly a pretty difficult offseason?
Yeah, I mean, somewhat, that is a layer for sure, but we don't expect it to keep us from, by any means, doing business or from just, aggressively signing players. We just have to factor in what the hypotheticals could be and make sure that we're really open with players and agents about that, and might have to be a little bit creative. But Major League Baseball has been exceptionally forthcoming in communicating every step of the way the potential scenarios that could be and how we should be thinking about our decisions that are in front of us. So we feel like we have the information we need to move forward.
Hey, last one. And this doesn't have to relate to you guys. You're a lifetime baseball guy. Do you like the wild card format? Do you like baseball's playoff system?
I mean, listen, it's come up with a better idea and solution, and we don't have enough time for that because it's so nuanced and complex. There's a lot of exciting things about it. I had a lot of fun. Well, fun's a wrong word. I did think that was entertaining, that game last night, and the stakes being so high and what that meant for creativity and usage. So there's a lot of different ways to think about building upon that. But I do think there is a lot to be said for winning your division and that having significant power. I do like that facet of it.
Right. That winning the 162 game marathon has some weight.
Yeah.
Hey, Ross, listen, we always appreciate you taking the time. Thanks for doing
Tim.
this. And we'll talk soon.
No, likewise. Have a great day.
You too. There is Ross Atkins, general manager of the Toronto Blue Jays. Why don't we take the break, Jesse? Because I have a feeling people will weigh in on that conversation. Maybe we can sort through some of that stuff and come back with it, and then I'll get your opinion on what you just heard.
I'm on it.
All right, so Rubenov's going to have a busy commercial break. He's going to be getting your feedback on that conversation and the Jays off-season ahead, and then we'll have a conversation around it next right here on Tim and Friends. Jesse, more importantly, have you heard the new Adele?
I haven't.
It's just a teaser. Is it single released? Do you care? Do you not know?
No, it just
Adele is one of the single greatest talents of our time.
I agree with that. I just haven't heard the teaser.
Okay.
I'm sure it's great, though. Like, odds are it's really good.
Your look told me you didn't care.
No, I care.
And we were about to throw down.
I'm a huge fan of Rolling in the Deep.
COVID protocol throwdown. I don't know what the hell that is in this studio, but we were about to have a COVID.
You can't. No, there's a wall up here. You can't come within 6 feet, buddy. You can't come within 6 feet.
I can throw things at you.
That's true. Yeah.
You were a goalie, though, so I don't know what the hell that does.
That might be what happened to your pen. Maybe you threw it at me one day and now it's gone. I don't know.
I used to be known for throwing pens. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know.
I was a pen thrower, yeah. Back
like,
in the day.
like
get mad
on
at myself
air?
and chuck it, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Please don't bring that back. Sounds like a safety hazard.
All right, so what are people saying after the conversation with Ross? Did you get any, before we get to the tweets, did you take anything that you thought you heard from the conversation?
Yeah, well, I think, first of all, it seems like they want to do what everyone's expecting. They would like very much to have Ray and Semien come back. But you have to also be realistic about it. And I was not surprised with his answer about Charlie Montoyo, and how he does a lot for this team that we don't see. Yeah. And that's something that I think the front office values. I actually thought his most revealing answer was about the bullpen, when he sort of took responsibility for not making the moves earlier. I thought it was a tough question that you asked about why didn't the moves come earlier? Because the moves ended up being really good. And he sort of said, yeah, that's on me.
I asked that second. And I probably should have waited on that one because I thought the answers got a little shorter.
You're rethinking your strategy?
Shorter, yeah. My strategy changed after the answers got a little bit shorter. I thought the other one about, here's what I think. I think that the Toronto Blue Jays are in a spot where they can't say that they want those players back and will go to all ends. They need to watch their money. And if Semien and Ray want real big money, they can find some value other places. Like Pro Toronto wrote in and said 4 years, 90 for Ray, 4 years, 90 for Semien, 5 years, 95 for Ray. Done. I think they're getting more than that. I think the open market is significantly more for both of them. I think there's starting points probably 25 a year.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Okay, people always want Rodgers to spend more money. And you can keep saying, billions of dollars in the company, nice. But also, Simeon and Ray want to come back here. Like, it's not just the Blue Jays being like, hey, we'll offer you all the money in the world. Like, they can do that if they want. Mm-hmm. But if Marcus Semien wants to go to the West Coast, Marcus Semien is going to go to the West Coast. Like, what? So the Blue Jays are supposed to offer $30 million more a year than the next team? Like, that's just not practical. That's not how these things work. So unless these guys really want to come back here, then they're not going to.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Simeon wants to come back under, like, he was unbelievable for this team, and obviously, but when Bo Bichette was crying, or at least had to fight back tears, it made me feel like maybe he knew something we did.
Like they had a private conversation and he knows he's gone?
Yeah, like he wants to be a shortstop.
Yeah. Okay, let's have a look at what some of the viewers got from that interview. Rob says, sounds like A, they plan to be major players in the free agent market as they were in 2020. B, Nate Pearson will start in the bullpen, assuming he's not part of a trade. Eyes emoji. C, Ross is okay with the playoff format and values the division win more, i.e. no expansion.
I like
Rob was paying attention.
Yeah, I like the ABC on this.
I like that one too.
Do you want me to take on any of those? Like, it's just a good summation of what we talked about.
Yeah, it is a good summation.
Although he added in the trade part.
The Pearson one's kind of interesting to me. Obviously, the vision for him when he started as a prospect was starting.
Through the roof.
Yes. But now, like, you look at what he was able to do in that last series against the Orioles and just harness that ability, right? And he's throwing 100. And that's basically 102. And that's what bullpens have become in the majors now. Like, everybody throws gas.
But hold on a second here. Like, this is, like, I like what you're saying, but you understand that a good starting pitcher
is more valuable.
Like, makes more money.
Right.
Yeah. So the dude wants to be a starting pitcher.
Yes. But, it's not necessarily up to him. If they decide while he's under contract, they want him to be a reliever and they value him there.
But he can bitch and complain, and he can be a pain in the ass.
Yeah, that
and
happens.
The one good thing about this clubhouse, it seems like they don't have a lot of people doing that right now. Mm-hmm. And that's of a significant value to a team, to not have people bitching and moaning all the time.
No doubt. Okay, A. Hags writes in, I'm sure Charlie promotes a positive environment for his players to grow. However, it's just as important to me to have a guy who can blow up from time to time. Meet me somewhere halfway with a Charlie Gibby mix.
But isn't that Pete Walker for you?
Yeah, that seemed to be Pete Walker during the race series.
No, but Pete Walker kept getting tossed.
Yeah.
When it was balls and strikes, it was always Pete Walker who ended up getting tossed.
So you think as long as there's that dude in the dugout or the clubhouse,
yes,
right, then you don't need the manager to play both roles.
Yeah, I don't. Other people do, though. I understand that. Like, people were really upset that Charlie Montoyo didn't stick up for his guys against the Rays.
Yeah, I think it boils down to how much.
Brandon Hyde was yelling at Robbie Ray.
Yeah. Like, how much weight does Pete Walker hold in the clubhouse? Like, is it as valuable to the players to have Pete Walker respond like that as it is to Charlie Montoyo? And that's the thing. We don't know. Like, we don't know.
We do know. There's, like, good cop, bad cop. Like, they have routines based on these things. Like, when you don't have something in your personality, you put that personality with the guy so that they can cover off that area of it all. Like, I think fans just don't like Charlie Montoyo for some reason, and they're projecting what they don't like onto a spot where you've got someone doing that for him. Like, Pete Walker literally does it for him.
Yes, no doubt. Robin, who has been on a roll with tweets lately.
Oh, wow.
Robin says, focus should be on not breaking Bo Bichette's heart and bringing Marcus Semien back.
Yes. Yes. I think that the heart was broken because Bo Bichette might know that Marcus Semien either wants a lot of money, wants to play shortstop. I hope I'm wrong on this, but something in that emotion told me that Bo Bichette may know.
If you could have one of them, which one would you want? I know you asked the question of the roundtable yesterday, but if you could have Ray or Semien, loaded question.
Let me hot take you.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I think getting Jose Barrios to a long-term deal is more important than getting Robbie Ray to a long-term deal.
Because he's younger?
Because he's younger, and the ability to stay at a high level for a long period of time seems like it is easier for Barrios to do than Ray.
Like
even though Ray will win the AL Cy Young Award. So when you're weighing all these options, throw that into the mix. That the Jays should extend Barrios when they can, because that's a great young pitcher who everyone seems to love. Although Robbie Ray got along really well with his team too.
Yeah, no question. You saw that thank you tweet from Robbie Ray earlier that we had up during that interview. Spencer says, the Blue Jays need to find a way to get Brad Hand signed to the Yankees for next season. And Pandalise the Greek is asking, are you willing to share where you got that blazer from?
At Sportsnet_style.
Nice plug, Timmy.
On the gram.
That's professional. That's why, that's why you're in that spot.
You can find out where these are from. You know what I'm talking about? Although I do appreciate it, because last time I wore it, got chirped a little bit. After the break, it's October, the NHL season around the corner, and so is the return of Rogers Hometown Hockey. First 5 stops on the tour announced today, and a move of nights. We'll discuss what night with Ron McLean, Tara Sloan. Next.
Tim and Friends, time for Tim and Friends. Tim and Friends. Tim and Friends, time for Tim and Friends. Tim and Friends.
And now, time for real sports talk with Tim McAuliffe and friends of the show.
Thank you very much. Sheepdogs back here, hour number 2 on Sportsnet and Sportsnet 360. Still Captain Kenny Reed in studio. I'm not sure if he's bought trophies, but he is in and around the building. So are Ron McLean and Tara Sloan. They will discuss the return of Rogers Hometown Hockey to the Sportsnet family of channels. And Arash Markazi from Dodger Stadium. Dodgers Cards set to face off in the NL Wild Card game. MLB Central gets started 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, followed by the game on Sportsnet. That game, my friends, will feature Adam Wainwright on the hill for the Cards against Matt Scherzer. That's right, kids. Well, there's no kids here. It's Wainwright and Scherzer. They're both old. Wainwright's 29th playoff appearance, all with the Cards. He signed a 1-year deal to stay with the Cards next season, $17.5 million. Meantime, it's Scherzer's first playoff appearance for the Dodgers after being acquired at the trade deadline as he enters free agency this offseason. The Cards went 38-15 down the stretch to get this lineup in to face Scherzer. Tommy Edman leads off while the 2, 3, and 4 spots are dangerous as Tyler O'Neill, Maple Ridge, BC, hits between Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado in his 18th season behind the plate. Yadier Molina catches Wainwright and he will bat 6. Meantime, Dodgers lineup looks like this. Mookie Betts, not a bad lineup. Corey Seager, Trey Turner, Justin Turner. There you got Beatty, Mac Muncy, injured on the final day of the regular season. 2019 MVP Cody Bellinger coming off a terrible season where he hit just 165. Will get the start in center. He'll bat 9th, amazingly, against Wainwright. Cards' 40-year-old pitcher started into the 9th inning when these two teams played each other 4 weeks ago, or went into the 9th inning when these two teams played each other 4 weeks ago. Here's his manager, Mike Schlitt.
We got a starter in Waino who can take down the whole thing, so, and is more than capable and clearly willing to do that. So, anytime you're in an elimination game, it's just about staying present, staying in the moment, and, executing at every turn, and that's all you can really do, and chips fall where they may.
Obviously, he threw a lot of strikes, kept us off balance. He pitched a great game when we were there. It's a 1-game playoff for him too, and so obviously we're going to play our best, but he's going to come out ready to go. He's got fire just like we do, and so it's going to be a tough one, and it'll be fun.
I'm going to make an appeal here. The Padres have officially fired manager Jace Tingler after a terribly disappointing season. My appeal is that someone hires Jace Tingler because it's the best handle in all of sports. I knew
that's where that was going.
You cannot in any way, shape, or form take Jace Tingler away from sportscasters everywhere. Please, somebody, despite the fact that the Padres are looking for their 5th manager in 7 years, bring back Jace Tingler. All right, to hockey, and some news from Habs training camp. Carey Price won't be able to practice with the Habs before the regular season starts next week as he is now dealing with a non-COVID related illness. He most certainly, or almost certainly, won't start the regular season with the team while he recovers from the meniscus surgery. Meantime, Joel Edmondson will also miss 2 to 3 weeks as he continues to deal with undisclosed injury. Now, it has been a year or over a year since we saw Rogers Hometown Hockey hit the airwaves in Canada. But earlier today, we got some news on the Coast to Coast to Coast cavalcade of hockey and its return to the network. My two guests know a little something about that, and they know a little something about hockey. From Rogers Hometown Hockey, presented by Hyundai and Desjardins, just down the hall, here's Tara Sloan and Ron McLean. Good to see you both, kind of, sort of.
Hello down there.
Yeah, nice
Hi.
to see you, Tim.
I liked those chairs a couple of years ago, but this will do. It's really nice to be in the studio with you.
When we're allowed to have more than 5 people in this studio at one time, right, I would love to have you guys back. So the NHL season, like a week away. What are you allowed to tell me, Tara, about hometown hockey?
Well, I am allowed to tell you that it's a go. I think that's the biggest news for all of us and the thing that's exciting us. We have moved to Monday nights. The broadcast itself has moved to Monday, so that is a significant change. We have more Canadian matchups available to us that night. And we have announced our first 5 tour stops. So we're doing this in kind of a rolling fashion because health and safety is paramount. We know that things can change on a dime. So we feel pretty good that these first stops, which are in Ontario, but we do hope to get to coast to coast to coast down the line. So there is a festival attached. It's not going to be exactly the same. Nothing is exactly the same. No. But we're kicking things off on the weekend just before the 18th in North Dumfries. We actually visited the Air Centennials, their new Junior B franchise, old Junior B franchise. So, everything is underway. We get a sense that community is really, really important right now. And so I think, Ron, this is going to be a more meaningful season than ever.
And Tim, I know you want in, but 2 quick things. We went to the home opener for Air. The Centennials fell behind 3-0 early on, and I thought, oh no, here we go. We've dropped a puck, and this is a tradition with us. They're going to lose. Right. But they came back a big 7-5 victory. The only jinx we've been is we were down here next door to your studio for we were shooting the Canada Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony, Tara and I, and we were on Jamie and Brad and Joe's desk for Blue Jays Central. So we might have screwed that up.
Oh, man. I didn't know that was on us. Sorry, Canada.
You don't want that smoke, I'll tell you that much.
Don't. Yeah, gosh, love them.
So Tara kind of led you down the road, and obviously it's been such a tough journey, Ron, for so many across this country, and I think I romanticize it a tad too much, but I know you and I have talked about sports power to unite and to be a stitch in the quilt or some glue in the mosaic. Does it feel right to come back now?
Of course, for all the reasons that it takes so many people to make a hockey program successful. And just being in Air the other night, it was unbelievable. Cody Hall is the coach, a former player, and his dad, Jeff, and I sat and watched the game. And, I just think it's we all need it. There's that. We'll be very safe in how we do it. It's a limited number of participants can come to the festival, but you just go to the Hometown Hockey website and you can get your free ticket, but you have to be double vaxxed. And of course, that's only 12 and up. But if you're 12 and under and want to come, you have to be accompanied by a guardian or a parent who's double vaxxed. So we'll make it happen. And I just think, Tim, you can never go. Like, I just think of the summer that we've had here. Jessie Fleming scoring big goals at the Olympics in soccer. Former hockey player. Her hero is Sidney Crosby, and she played boys hockey all the way up in London. I think of Kylie Moss, our great swimmer. Another fantastic hockey player. Tara and I, we got to profile Kylie when we were down in LaSalle, Windsor, in Southern Ontario, home of your dad's great performances. So, yeah, we need it. It's a thread, the quilt, all that. The blanket of snow, you bet.
I don't know about my dad's great performances, but he probably dropped the gloves a couple of times. So I feel like in this spot, and I know like this must have been, and I don't want to swear in front of Ron McLean and Tara Sloan, but a bleep load of work to get it done. Like, how many people were working behind the scenes, Tara, to make sure that you guys could get this season in?
Countless. And I'd love to give credit to everybody, but Allison Redmond, our executive producer, is sitting right there. So I will give credit to her. But of course, I mean, the work continues, right? Everything is a moving target. So we have to make sure that health and safety is always in place. And we know things change so quickly right now. So we are just trying to get everywhere, and we're trying to do it in the safest way possible. But like Ron said, this is, I mean, talk about storytelling. And we have this collective story and this collective experience that I think we all want to kind of commiserate and celebrate together. And this is the perfect way to do it.
Tim, I'll lead this with a couple of clips. First of all, the Stanley Cup final, the last game we did. What always strikes me about Rogers Hometown Hockey is we do it, Tar and I, 25 stops, and then it's like all through the Stanley Cup, the stories we gleaned from the year that just was end up recurring on our shows. And this was a favorite moment of mine after Tampa's won their second Stanley Cup in 280 days, and there was a defining moment in the third period where a guy blocks a shot, a Shea Weber blast. And Kyle Bukauskas, whose Campbell River was going to be one of our last stops before the pandemic broke, and we will try to get there. So he's from Campbell River, BC, and he's interviewing John Cooper of Prince George, and we've been there and we'll be there again. And they talk about this one name that we had featured on Rogers Hometown Hockey. So I'll let you hear this Kyle Bukauskas interview.
How would you describe their hunger throughout this run?
I'll tell you, it was all summed up when Weber loaded up for that shot and Goudreau stepped in front of it. That kind of sums up the character of this team.
So the whole time we watched that series in Montreal, games 3 and 4, I was with John and Janice, his mom and dad, and his sister Martha, who was a fantastic athlete at the Country Day School in Aurora, where we had done the Hometown Hockey Show, and Mike Camilleri had been to the school, Jacob Chikrin, Victor Mete all attended this little school. So here's a little tweet that we put out celebrating the Goudreau family, thanks to Hometown Hockey. We saw a lot of Janice and John. I first met them Rogers Hometown Hockey in Aurora. That's his hometown, and he played high school hockey there at the Country Day. Victor Mete went to that school. Jeff Chikrin went to that school. Mike Camilleri years ago went to that school. John Cooper singled out Barclay Goudreau tonight, so I just can't even imagine the joy for mom and dad. A three-time OMHA champion blocks that Shea Weber blast. He blocked another in the final minute. He was for 5 seasons with North Bay Battalion. He was their captain. But when he was in high school in Aurora, his coaches were Mr. McMillan and Mr. Hendry. So Mr. McMillan and Mr. Hendry, you take a bow. I mean, he was a great all-around athlete, star basketball player, star hockey player. Fantastic. Sorry, that was a little long, Tara and Tim, but you get the gist. We don't know that if we don't go out and
100%.
travel.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. And that's part, I as I drive up there to my in-laws, I know that the sign there says Robert Thomas and Barclay Goudreau as soon as you go into the area. So it's awesome that you guys weave that through. So Monday, obviously a new night. I know you have a couple new sponsors on board with Hyundai and Desjardins. What else, Tara, can we expect from this season of Hometown Hockey that may be a little different from the past outside of obviously the COVID protocols?
Well, I mean, the festival is still going to be interactive. We have some of our old favorites back, like Paz, the Hockey Circus Show. So it really is, geared towards bringing people together in a safe way. I mean, I think we have yet to discover what's going to be new for our broadcast because we're doing this differently on a night that is not a festival night. But I do think that we're hoping that people will still come and wave in the background. So, but like I said, the matchups on Mondays are going to be a little bit more dynamic for us. And for us, this is a Canadian show. We're featuring Canadian communities. So we have a lot more Canadian matchups kicking things off with the Rangers versus the Maple Leafs.
Let me ask you this, Tim. So in addition to having more Canadian matchups, we have multiple Canadian matchups on a same night. So we often on a Monday night, we will have 3 Canadian games taking place. We get a lot of Toronto Maple Leaf games, which we could never get because their signature night is Saturday night, right. So Sundays it was impossible. But anyway, we've got them all. So you could have your McDavid on, and you could have your Matthews at the same time. And I don't want to offend anybody, but you get the gist. I think, Tim, Monday night is a cool night because weekends are busy. And Sunday night TV, it's the end of a trip, your family, you might have been at the hockey rink, whereas Monday night for me was always the healthcare night, and we didn't know what healthcare was when I was young, but self-care, healthcare, you kind of took stock of everything. Monday night was private. You could enjoy the show. So do you think Monday night's better?
I mean, I also think that, you would never know it by watching Ron's performance, which is always incredible. But Ron, I mean, some of the acrobatics that this man has had to do to get to our Rogers hometown hockey destinations for a Sunday night and sometimes out west an afternoon broadcast. It's amazing, knock on wood, that he never missed a show. But so I think Mondays, we feel a little bit better about getting him there. And I know I just jinxed it.
I'm rambling, Tara, because
everything's going awry.
Anthony Stewart and his wife Shantae today doing their great hockey equality clinic, which was for Indigenous today, but they do it for everybody in the BIPOC community. And because we were up early at Scotia Pond in Toronto, I might be a little punchy. I'm like I was when we do the shows Sunday nights, and I'm rambling again.
I'll give you the knock on wood, Tara. I found some wood here. I'm good. But I like my biggest conversation, I think the longest conversation off air that I always have with Ron is like, how the hell do you do that? Like, there's a Saturday night, you say love, Tara, peace, and hair grease, and then you're when it's out west, give me the longest travel schedule that you have had.
The funniest was Grand Falls, Windsor, Newfoundland, because they thought, what the hell are we going to talk about in Grand Falls, Windsor, Newfoundland? Wrong. There was a million good things. They won the Allen Cup that year, the Cataracts. The mayor, Barry Manilow, threw us a great shindig. And Manuel. Sorry, Barry Manilow. That's the singer. There you go. I am punchy. It was a hell of a party. I'm still hungover, Barry. I've got the names wrong. But and then we had Alec Faulkner, first Newfoundlander, right? He was up there. But the trip was Toronto on a Sunday morning, Toronto to Halifax, Halifax to St. John's, St. John's to Gander, and then a almost 2-hour drive. So that's a long way to go to get to getting the name Barry Manilow.
I was frantically trying to Google Barry Manilow songs because I don't know any off the top of my head.
Mandy, I should say Mandy.
Yes, Mandy. There you go. So this year, obviously, on Monday nights, there's a huge change. And as you said, there's going to be more Canadian matchups on Monday night. But, this show is going to be on before you a lot of time. Does that mean that maybe there could be some interaction here? Yeah. We might be able to do a little Tim and Friends along with hometown hockey?
I have been waiting to be asked to be your friend for quite some time, so absolutely.
Yeah. I think actually, Tim, that's another good point. We're really cognizant because the pandemic's a little bit still on and there's a lot going on in our world that it's nice to be live and I think the immediacy of you being there, I love that continuity, right? So can't wait for that opportunity.
That feeling of team. And honestly, whenever you guys, I've been fortunate enough to see this traveling circus in its entirety on the road. It's unbelievable what you guys are able to pull off each and every week. And you can see it in the people's faces when you show up. Not only are they happy to see you guys, but have this come through because it's so much fun to be a part of. So I thank you for dropping by and doing this and wish you continued success in the revival on Monday night.
Thank you.
Cheers, Tim.
All right, there is Ron McLean and Tara Sloan. New friends of the show, Jesse, because they are on Monday nights now. So hopefully one or two or both will stop by every once in a while to get the show set for that Monday night.
A little tee-up action?
Yeah, that's what we do on this show. We tee up the rest of the network, and that will be the rest of the network on those Monday nights. So we'll have a bunch of hockey to work into with Tara and Ron, even if, they don't want to. They want to slum it with us all the time.
Yeah, no, I get it.
All right, time for a break. From a classy Ron McLean and Tara Sloan.
Oh, no.
To Ken Reed. He joins me next in the studio. It's Ken Reed. He's kind of classy.
Get the trophy.
All right, so in the commercial break, Ken Reed just comes flying into the studio singing Barry Manilow and Lady Gaga. Is that what happened here?
Yeah,
We're pulling the curtain back here. Ken Reed in studio for his, I don't want to call it weekly Wednesday appearance because then we might have to pay him for the weekly Wednesday appearance.
I dropped in. I sang, when Ron said Barry Manilow, a lot of people think Copacabana right away, or Mandy, and I think I write the songs. I write the songs to make the whole world cry.
Right.
I make the songs of love and special things, and then we started talking about generational talent. You mentioned Adele was a generational talent.
I was getting mad at Jesse earlier.
I agreed, and to which I said, and the tell me something, boy. To which you said it's Lady Gaga. When I say Lady Gaga on the Super Bowl halftime.
Did she fall out of the, she was on top of the roof and flew down?
Yeah, I got drip,
Maybe
right?
It was fake. I don't remember it.
CG.
You guys, you guys keep telling me I have drip.
Everything's fake.
Yeah,
my FB isn't working, but apparently I have drip. But
yes, look at that.
I got into Lady Gaga, and I'm really excited for this year's Super Bowl halftime, because that's what I'm talking about, little Snoop Dogg, little Dre.
Yeah.
Because I'm from the Chronic generation, baby. That's university, man. 1992, 93. I was around that. That's what I'm talking about. Drop some of that on you kids.
So can you give us some, you did Barry Manilow. Can you do a little 1, 2, 3 into the 4?
Timmy, Dr. McAuliffe, and Kenny Reed are at the door. There you go.
Ready to make an entrance, so back on up.
Because we're about to...
So we were talking about,
part.
in commercial break, generational talent. This is where this is all going.
Yeah.
So Adele, Lady Gaga, who else of our generation is generational talent when it comes to... Just hit us up at Tim and Friends.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Why not? We're having the conversation.
But do you suggest Ed Sheeran?
I think Ed Sheeran's pretty damn close, man.
Yeah?
He's really talented.
Oh, you're talking music. I thought we were talking sports broadcasters. I was going to say 3 of us, obviously.
Right.
My nephew Brady, who won the Nova Scotia Golf Championships with the C.P. Allen golf team, obviously runs the family this weekend. He's a generational talent. By the way, my other golf trophies I was going to bring on the show.
Yeah, we weren't asking.
They're missing.
No, they're
missing. I said to Mrs. Reed
can't
today.
buy the way that we weren't asking on purpose.
I said to Mrs. Reed today.
Yeah.
I can't find my golf trophies. She says I don't care. So I think Mrs. Reed may have thrown them out.
That's my girl right there.
Man, my hairpiece is off today.
Yeah, what is going on there? You're not going to comb today? What happened?
I don't know. Maybe it's because I was doing my Ed Whalen imitation last night on Sportsnet Central. My hairpiece isn't quite working. I don't know what's going on
I'd
there.
come over there and help you, but someone will get mad at me. Health and safety protocols.
Exactly.
Even though we're tested and all that stuff. So,
Ron used to work with Ed Whalen, back in the old Flames broadcast days. Yeah, there's a great promo of them on YouTube. And if anyone doesn't know who Ed Whalen is, he was the voice of the Flames for a while, for years actually, and he was the voice of Stampede Wrestling.
Yes.
He was a local sports reporter. He was a legend in Calgary.
So but this was of a different time. Ed Whalen was of a different time when your local sports guy was a huge star.
He was the champ kind of Calgary, right? That Ron Burgundy-esque local news thing.
That's exactly the kind of thing, and he would do everything, but he did it with this pizzazz and personality that I don't know if there would be anything like it in 2021.
And everything had the same tone. He hosted Spelling Bee, and Spelling Bee had the same tone as Calgary Flames hockey. Yeah. Welcome everyone to the Calgary Saddle Dome. Welcome everyone to Spelling Bee. It was all the same, and it was awesome. He was the best. He was such a kind man, too. And he recorded a CD of love songs.
What?
Yes.
No, he didn't.
He did. Songs for
Generational
Nomi.
talent.
Generational talent without a doubt. Country Joe West, Ed Whalen, apparently.
Ed did an album for his wife called Songs for Nomi. It was awesome. I had it. It's somewhere in my many moves. It's probably with my old golf trophies.
So it's all about Nomi.
No,
and her big fat sister, Naomi. Sorry, that's probably a different genre.
He did standards. It had to be good. That kind of stuff. Ed was awesome, and he was such a kind guy. And the cool thing about that era of news, every town and city had a guy. Right. Like where I grew up, our local sportscaster was John Brother McDonald. And every day, Rod Mackey would throw him to the sports, and every day would start, "Thank you, Rod. Good morning, sport fans. In Trenton, major fastball." And it didn't matter what happened the night before. It was always in Trenton, major fastball. So every town had a guy like that.
Was Brother his nickname or his middle name?
Brother was his nickname.
Of course it was his nickname.
He was one of my first sportscaster heroes. So every town had a guy like that.
I was trying to engage another generation of audience by going dance hall reggae for 12 seconds, and it just went straight over Kenny's head and landed about Jesse.
Dance hall what?
Yeah, that's right. Jesse, you wanted to weigh in on generational talent. What's going on here? I saw you kind of lean in.
Well, no, because we posted it as asked on the show. Besides Adele and Lady Gaga, who else of Tim and Ken's generation